Section 6.3. Factoring trinomials whose leading coefficient is not 1. Part 2. In this lesson, we continue factoring trinomials with leading coefficient not equal to 1, but I would like to introduce another method to you. This method is called the AC method or factoring by grouping method. Let's see how it's done using an example. First, multiply A times C. In our case, it means 3 times negative 10. Then, identify what your B is in this example. It is negative 1. Now our job will be to find two integers whose product is negative 30 and whose sum is negative 1. Can you think of those two numbers? The two numbers are negative 6 and positive 5. They multiply into negative 30 and add into negative 1. Now we're going to use these two numbers to rewrite the middle term of the original expression. Please note that negative 6x plus positive 5x is equivalent to the original negative 1x. Now that we have four terms, we're going to apply a grouping method of factoring. I will divide this polynomial into two parts with two terms in each. What is the greatest common factor between the first two terms, 3x squared and negative 6x? Factor out that GCF. Factoring out 3x leaves me with a remaining factor of x minus 2. Do the same thing with the second group. What is common between 5x and negative 10? It is positive 5, which I will factor out. And the remaining factor will be x minus 2. Remember that at this point you need to factor out once more a common factor of x minus 2 from two terms of this expression. The resulting factored expression is x minus 2 multiplied by 3x plus 5. This is the factored form of the original expression. We are done with this assignment. Example 2. Factor 8x squared minus 10x plus 3. We again are going to use the AC method, and my first step is to find the product AC. 8 times 3 is 24, and I'm looking for two integers whose product is 24 and whose sum is negative 10. Quickly think about factors of 24. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. Which pair of these four will meet our requirement? I hope you agree that 4 times 6 is the one we need. However, notice I need to make sure that the signs also are observed. And since I need to have a positive product but a negative sum, both of these numbers have to get negative signs. Now I will be using negative 4 and negative 6 to rewrite the middle term, negative 10x, into parts. Again, notice negative 4 and negative 6 together are equivalent to the original negative 10x. So this new expression is equivalent to the original trinomial. Apply grouping by grouping method of factoring to this expression. If you are confused what to do with this negative right here, I suggest to literally rewrite this into expression having two groups. In this format, you can clearly see that you are looking for GCF of each individual group of two terms. Let's start with the first one. What is the greatest common factor between 8x squared and negative 4x? I hope you agree that it would be 4x. We factored out 4x, and we have the remaining factor of 2x minus 1. Now apply the same process to the second group. The GCF between negative 6x and positive 3, what is it? Notice that you could factor out 3 or negative 3. You need to choose the option that will ensure that the remaining factor after that step will look exactly like 2x minus 1, because that's the only way to continue factoring this expression. Therefore, I will factor negative 3 out of the second group. Factoring negative 3 out leaves me with a remaining factor of 2x minus 1, exactly the same expression as my first group has. Now finish by factoring this common factor of 2x minus 1. The factored form of the original trinomial is 2x minus 1 times 4x minus 3. Remember that factoring skills require practice. Therefore, please practice with a trial and error method as well as with this method, and you will probably find for yourself which is the best method. Use it then.